is my recap of the 15th episode of Super Mario Terry's TPOT Viewer Voting. This is the third episode to be divided into two parts. In the first episode, to indicate it was divided into the thumbnail. This is the first episode with the body of the episode named Algebra Brilliant in the title, rather than the actual Algebra Brilliant itself. The thumbnail contains green pin, basketball, and vert. The episode was released on May 3, 2025. The first three people to appear are Bottle, Sleepy, and Eggy. After 1 minute and 5 seconds, the HFJ1 intro briefly starts but gets interrupted. Saw said she made a deal with one to get electric powers, and Golf Ball said she made a deal with one to get her legs back. And Basketball said that her deal was for Remote Flower to apologize to Remote. Basketball says that one has been planning to steal 2 power, but Book claims that Gady is missing. Cake shows up in an unknown universe, and Anchor appears, and there's already an Anchor here. Nickel is banned in this universe, and there's an unknown character. Cake also has arms in this universe. This is out of character for Cake. For some reason, Cake was labeled as Minty, Nickel was labeled as Yoshi-Om, and Anchor was labeled as AJ. Neither Anchor recognizes each other. Gady is revealed to have been captured by one. Cake and Steak starts after 2 minutes and 34 seconds, but the Cake and Steak show doesn't start. Here are the 8 remaining members of Wobutch again. Here are the 8 remaining members of Our Name Needs to Be Better. Here are the 7 remaining members of Mechanical Friendship Pack. And here are the 7 remaining members of Wood Food. Last episode, even though Wobutch again and Our Name Needs to Be Better were both fully exterminated, Terry put them both up for elimination without starting a tiebreaker. Bomby gets confused because Pin is green, but for some reason the hotel is shown to be the bathrooms. Needle gets confused, and Quinn acts like there's no hotel. Bomby tries to talk to 2, but 9 shows up instead. But the Cake and Skate intro starts right after. This makes this episode the first episode of Terry's TPOT Viewer Voting to have a Cake and Skate intro. Today's Cake is a skateboard. 9-Ball doesn't reveal which team is up for elimination first, but announces Pin and Bomby safe, who are both on Wobutch again. 9 doesn't reveal the total number of votes. For some reason, 9 gave Bomby a slice of cheese instead of a skateboard, confusing him. Cheeseord shows up and announces Rocky and Needle safe with 3 votes. They both get 1-up mushrooms, which doesn't make sense. And another Mario Hat object shows up instead. None of these hosts are 2. Bomby gets mad about it, but Rocky acts like Bomby's saying he doesn't even know how to eat or drink. The Mario Hat character announces Neo is safe with 2 votes, but he gives him a Mega Mushroom instead of 1-up mushroom. The announcer shows up out of nowhere and announces Quinn is safe with 2 votes, so now it's down to Donut and Yellowface. 14 votes have been counted so far. Bomby asks the announcer why Quinn is safe. Quinn gets a cake, but slaps Bomby for no reason. The announcer acts like we're not tied. Triangle Speaker Box interrupts and claims that Donut and Yellowface are both tied, but didn't say how much votes they got. Profile claims that 3 people voted for Wobutch again, but none of them voted for Our Name Needs to Be Better, which is not true. Profile unnecessarily reiterates Nelly is safe, but he claims that his 3-way die and dumps Coiny in, even though he got 2 votes. The tiebreaker contest is to leave the roof, but Profile puts Coiny in for no reason. Yellowface mentions Terry's battle for Jumao and again viewer voting. Donut pushes Coiny off the roof, but instead of starting a death match between Donut and Yellowface, Profile eliminates Coiny instead. This was weirdest high and the most unexpected elimination of the series. I don't even know why Terry thought it was a good idea to tie Coiny with Yellowface and Donut in the first place. Next team up for elimination is Our Name Needs to Be Better. Terry reveals Tree, Barfbag, Grassy, and Cloudy to Gady, and they're still in the flower garden. Ian shows up. Bomby gets wordly confused, and Ian says that today's cake is verped. Ian doesn't reveal the total number of votes, but announces Pan safe with 4 votes and Teardrop safe with 3 votes. Golf Ball is confused as to how Bomby was talking like that about cake and steak prizes. Tennis Ball is confused either, but the background changes for absolutely no reason. Pan Fu shows up and announces Eggy and Eraser safe with 3 votes. Eraser gets a violin for some reason. Teardrop saves Eggy from falling to her death. Evil Leafy jump scares Tennis Ball, but the number 2 shows up. Bomby jokes to Tennis Ball about his prize being Evil Leafy, which indirectly confirms Tennis Ball is safe with 2 votes. Pointy shows up and Basketball acts like she's safe, but the number 2 shows up over Basketball. Pineapple shows up and puts Golf Ball in the bottom 2 with Snowball. This hidden context might indicate that Basketball is safe with 2 votes, so now it's down to Golf Ball and Snowball. Golf Ball is bossy and can be annoying, and Snowball is a jerk. But without starting a drum roll, Pineapple eliminates Snowball with 0 votes. This means Our Name Needs to Be Better got a total of 16 votes. But Pineapple erroneously believes that Tennis Ball and Basketball have not been announced safe and claims that 2 tiebreakers will happen. Instead of eliminating Snowball, Pineapple puts Snowball, Golf Ball, Tennis Ball, and Basketball up for a death match. But for some reason, a few moments later, Pineapple unfairly eliminates Tennis Ball. This is the 3rd unfair elimination of the series. And both mistakes were not realized, so Quinn and Tennis Ball were both eliminated instead of whoever was going to win the first tiebreaker, and Snowball. Terry claims that one person voted for the same team twice, so he claims he had to put the votes for Yellowface and Donut to make it count. He claims it's also the same reason why he eliminated Coiny. But he also claimed that Donut and Yellowface were indeed tied, but with 0 votes, which meant that the total number of votes was 32. But this means that Coiny was unfairly nudged into the tie. The budget of this show has dropped dramatically for no reason. The budget was brought back, but text appeared which implied that Terry forgot to add Basketball and Golf Ball. Bug acts like the teams have been rearranged, which doesn't make sense. Pan starts a rivalry with Needle. Cheeseord claims that 2 teams will be a elimination from now on. But the intro starts right after. The Power of 2, Episode 15. Seasonal Shift. But Sapie's voting icon was unnecessarily added to the intro. And right after the intro, the voting icons of the 14 eliminated contestants popped up. This was unnecessary, but Terry puts them up for favor voting anyway. Terry claims that Yellowface and Donut got 1 vote instead of 0. This still makes the bunching up with Coiny and Coiny's elimination unfair, and the total number of votes is now 34. Terry also claimed that Tennis Ball was eliminated instead of Snowball for the same reason why he put Coiny in the tiebreaker with Donut and Yellowface, which doesn't make sense. Part 2 was released on May 17, 2025. The thumbnail contains a green marker, Golf Ball, Spike Ball, Speaker Box, and a Yo-Yo Light chunk. TV organizes the remaining contestants based on their canon teams. The 15th contest was not explained. Terry claimed the book acted like everyone was in their new teams, because Teal and Gady were missing, so Book had to take control and see what the new teams were. The 4 teams were organized by canon teams to go to different episodes. Death Pact yet again is assigned to go to the 16th episode of Battle for Jumaon Camp again, called New Updates for This Camp. Team 2 was assigned to go to the 10th episode of Terry's Battle for Jumaon again viewer voting. Was assigned to go to the 5th episode of Battle for Jumaon Camp again, called Welcome to Yoyoland. And Quad Yang was assigned to go to the second part of the 5th episode of Battle for Jumaon Camp Rebooted, called If You Read this title, the series is gonna have a break. Terry claims this series is called BFDI Camp Rebooted, because he claimed it was rebooted due to a drama happening in a non-existent progenitor. Black Hole showed up despite being eliminated. Even though the contest was never announced, everyone was doing the contest like how it was in canon. Marker retrieved Anchor from Mechanical Friendship Pact, but Death Pact yet again was given a point instead.
The canon members of Death Pact yet again were assigned to go to the unfinished 21st and final episode of Battle for Dream Island Camp again, called Special Announcement.
Golf Ball retrieved scissors for Our Name Needs to Be Better, but was given a point instead. Then they were assigned to go to the first episode of Super Mario Terry's Battle for Dream Island again viewer voting.
But they went to the first episode of the Super Mario Terry's Pink Battle for Dream Island again viewer voting, called Get Back That Clubhouse of Awesomeness instead for some reason.
Nito retrieved Kitchen Safe for a bunch again, but Quaggy was given a point instead. 3 showed up, then 4 showed up. Then they were assigned to go to the first episode of Battle for Dream Island again viewer voting. Team 2 retrieved Shopping Cart. Then they were assigned by Fire's Big Rocks to go to the non-existent BFDI camp. Cake Boy claimed the Death Pact yet again was in the future, but they found Disky anyway. Puffball claims that the last fan debaters in the 15th episode of BFDI Camp Rebooted, called This Episode is Not As Exciting As You Thought. Terry jokingly puts Coiny, Donut, and Pin up for elimination, and changes the voting style to like and dislike. Rescues Clapboard. After 7 minutes and 37 seconds, part 2 ends with a cliffhanger, meaning this episode is the first one to be divided into 3 parts. Everyone who is still in the game is put up for favorite voting. Terry claims that the original BFDI camp did not happen because of unspecified problems. Terry announced that he got the Ice Cube lamp. Part 3 was released on May 22, 2025. The thumbnail contains 15, golf ball, pencil, puffball, and yellow face fighting over a yo-yo light chunk. I think this contest is going haywire, so I think I might have to skip it. The timeline almost fell apart, so Gady decided to sign the deal and save it. Everything was brought back to normal, but a crack in the sky remained, and Gady is nowhere to be seen. Surprisingly, 14 contestants were divided into 2 teams and put up for elimination for absolutely no reason. The voting style doesn't change, meaning it's still reverse voting rules. Rocky and Snappy were sandwiched with the other members of while Bombay, Fries, and Puffball were sandwiched with the other members of Kwaye. Surprisingly, Terry announces a second rejoin. Surprisingly, Terry announces a second debut for no reason. Voting time is unspecified. Rocky talks to Pencil inside the Clubhouse of Awesomeness. Tree, Grassy, Cloudy, and Barfbag discover the Equation Playground.